Hi friends, Jacqueline here. So today I want to share with you the status of my miniature rose garden and how they're doing. So I learned a little bit this year about covering my miniature roses because I tried something new. Instead of using grass clippings in here or straw, I used mulch. And I was not happy with the mulch because it gets stuck between the miniature roses and it's really super hard to get out. So I've come through here and I've cleaned all the mulch out of here, most of it. There's still some fine particles of it. Got it out all from between the roses. I gave them a good pruning, which I should have done a long time ago. And now they are looking good. They're starting to perk up, but they're missing food. Roses are heavy feeders, so they need some food in this area. So we're going to give them a really good feeding today in this video. And I'll point out the last one that I planted from my sick rose video, and I'll post a link to the sick rose video in here and I'll show you which one it is. For those of you that are curious, it did make it out into the garden and it was healthy when I put it out, and now I'll show you how it's doing in this area. So I need to make a few changes in this area as well. I've got a Yukon Gold rose here, a very hardy rose, perfect for zone 2, perfect for zone 3. It's a beautiful yellow. It is not easy to cover for the winter when I'm covering all the miniatures because it doesn't need coverage. So it kind of ends up being covered anyhow, and I don't think it liked it. It had a lot of dead growth on it. In fact, a lot of my roses did this year. We just didn't get the snow cover. So I need to move that. So I'm going to move it in a couple weeks here before it gets too hot. I also have 2 coral charm peonies, one right there and one right there. And they've got buds on them, so I'm going to leave them until they finish blooming, and I'm going to move them out of here too and just have this all miniature roses in here. So that is the plan. Now, for those of you that are curious where that sick rose ended up, basically, to sum it up, that rose was a gift from my husband, and it did its usual thing. It bloomed beautifully and then it started dying back, even though I kept it watered. I think I might have forgot it once or twice. I cut it all down like I have in my other videos, and let me show you which one it is now. And here it is right here. You can see it's healthy, it's put on growth. I put it out near the end of the last frost and it has done great. We got lots of red foliage on it. Now what I'm finding in this bed too is these ones seem to stay more red over here and the ones further down are not so red. I attribute this to protection from the evergreen tree that kind of hangs over here. So they're a little more robust and they're a little more protected. So I think that's why they're doing better over here than say on the other end of the garden. But we're going to fix all this because we're going to feed them all. And we're going to start with a granular fertilizer with a Miracle Grow, and then we're going to do a water soluble on all of them to perk them up. Now I just want to mention, it looks like I have lost a Salvia in here. You can see I have an empty spot right there. So I'm going to take cuttings of these Salvias and I'm going to propagate them in here to make more of the same color. And I would like to run it all around the bed. And I think that would be beautiful surrounded by it, because I don't want anything taller than the miniature roses, but I want something that's going to bring the pollinators in and give it some color and some design. So I really need to expand my game on this and add more salvias. And this is the new dimension pink that I have in here. And I really like it because it doesn't get too tall, and it's been buzzing with bees all day because I've been out here edging off this bed and cleaning it up for the video because it just needed it, and I need to give the roses some TLC. So first thing we're going to do is I'm going to put down some shake and feed, all-purpose fertilizer. Roses like this. I mean, pretty much any fertilizer is good for the roses. Oh my goodness, it's raining. We must have a cloud over us because it's really bright and sunny. Anyhow, I'm going to spread this out across the bed. And then we're going to come through with some liquid fertilizer. I've got some jugs of water ready to go. So we're just going to gradually just spread it all over. We're not going to be too picky about it. We're just going to make sure we try to get it in between the rows. Salvias can have a little bit too, and that's fine. They definitely need it. So you can see in here where the roses are much shorter. This is because there was too much mulch on them. So although they were well protected, I didn't get it off quick enough. And I should have got that mulch off of them quick enough because technically it can rot them out. Now that hasn't happened, but they aren't as vigorous as what they should be in here. So the fertilizer will help, and it'll help stimulate them. And now that I've cleared all the mulch, like I took a lot of it off. I took two wagons. I didn't use my wheelbarrow, I used my wagon off of here to clean this out. And there's still lots in here, but it's not the big pieces, it's the broken down stuff, which I prefer. Going forward, I think a good dose of compost, sorry, I just about coughed, would be good in here to give it a little more feeding. And in the winter, for the winter, I'm going to cover them with grass and put the tarp on them, and then cover them with boards to hold the tarp down like I did in my first video. And I can link that video as well in here too for any of you that wants to try it, because it works really well. A lot of these have been in here now 3 years. Like I said, I screwed up without uncovering them fast enough, and I should have, because they can take some cold, and I should have been on top of my game. But you know, best laid plans, right? All right, so I have my 3 water jugs here, and I'm going to add this fertilizer, and this is new to me. I am trying it. This is the Holland Secret Grow 217. It's a 3-part formula for high value crops. So I think the roses should like it. It's got 2% nitrogen, ammonia, phosphate, soluble potash, which here in Saskatchewan, if you want a beautiful lawn, you need some potash in your mix, because that will help give you a gorgeous lawn. And that's one of our number one commodities that we export from Saskatchewan is potash, wheat, all those great things. So we're going to add a cupful for this. So we're going to shake it well, and we're going to use a capful in each of the containers. Like I said, I've never used this before, so we'll see how good it is. I have my fish fertilizer, my jug of fish fertilizer in the front garden. I keep it sitting there to use with my window boxes and containers. And this one I'll keep in the back here. It's just so much easier. That ought to do it. Let's have a look and see what we got in here. There you go. Not a lot of smell to it. So we're just going to drop a capful in each one of these. That makes it go further. We don't need to overdose our plants with fertilizer, but we do need to feed our roses. I like to feed roses and annuals in particular. I'd already filled this with water, so we're just going to give this a bit of a shake here to get that fertilizer swished around. And I'm just going to come and get it on the foliage, because that's where we want the fertilizer. And I'll give some to the salvias as well. I might even give the peony a shot just to be polite, not leave it out. I'm going to use all 3 jugs on this bed just so they get a really good feeding. It's nice to get out here because the rain has stopped, although it is building up and it's been very humid. So that's not always so great. So if it does rain, that would be okay because we got our fertilizer down, our granular for the roses, and now they can have a really good feed. I'll make up for my bad behavior by treating them really nice. Normally, when you just water your roses, you don't want to get the foliage wet. But when you're feeding your roses, it's good to get it on the foliage so that the rose can absorb it through that foliage and soak it in. And I will show you how these look in a few weeks when they start coming to bloom. There is a couple buds on them already, but for the most part, I like to wait till I got a good show to share with you. I feel good about getting that job done today. Now let's have a closer look at these roses, up nice and personal here. So you can see we've got some buds forming right there on these ones here. And you can see these ones are all just starting to perk up. We have another bud right there on them. These ones are pretty small. They took a beating with me having too much mulch on them. I admit my mistakes when I make them, and I definitely made it. I should have got off my butt and got them cleaned off sooner, and I won't do that again. Lesson learned. And you can see we have some nice growth. There's no diseases or anything on them. They all look nice and healthy. I mean, it's early in the season, but we definitely have some nice growth. The Yukon is coming back slowly, but definitely going to be moved. And there's buds on that one as well. And buds forming on that one there. And you can just see how good they're looking right now, even though some of them are a little stunted. But we all make mistakes. That's part of gardening here. These ones are gorgeous. I love the red foliage on them. I think they look nice and healthy, particularly this one, the one that I put out here recently, the sick rose that the video was done on. It's gotten some really good height. That's nice for a first year of a plant being in this garden. It's worked out really lovely. And then you can see the rest of them here. They're all just starting to bounce back. Now we haven't had a lot of heat either, so that doesn't help. But now that we're getting the heat, I'm going to have to pay close attention to the moisture levels on them because I don't want to fry them. Now they do get water from our sprinkler system, and they may get drip eventually here, but it seems to work out okay. I don't overwater. I try not to underwater either. Kind of get on a watering schedule in the garden because I find things just get too dry if we don't. And the yard slopes this way, so they get all the runoff of the lawn, can technically come into here and give them some of that. So I try not to fertilize the backyard too much either because of that. All right, so that's the miniature rose update. That's where they're at here in June, and looking forward to some great things here with buds and blooms and all the colors. I am widening this bed out a little bit to add some more, and I have some areas where I could add some. So you might see that in upcoming videos where I add some more miniature roses to this bed. They just stay with me and they're so cute. I just can't help but want to grow them. And you can see over here we have bumblebees now that are on the salvias. Salvia is such a great attractor of pollinators. So I'll see you guys in the next video. I hope you enjoyed this, and there'll be more rose updates coming. If you have any questions, put it in the comments and I will respond. I'm always up early. And at the end of this video, I'm going to feature some footage of when I got up the other day, early in the morning, and we had some storms come through and the sky was like on fire. It was so pretty. I did do a short on it, but if you haven't seen it, I'll attach the footage on the end of this video to share with you. It was absolutely so pretty. Bye everybody. That's why they call Saskatchewan the land of the living skies, because look at the colors that we're getting so early in the morning. I mean, if you aren't up early, you don't get to enjoy this. It's around 4:15, 4:30 in the morning, and I'm always an early riser, but to get a show like this is just amazing. And it's changing so fast. We're going from pinks into more yellows now. Really, really pretty. So beautiful out right now. You can hear thunder in the distance. We got a storm coming in, but isn't the sky pretty? Look at how the light is coming through the trees. This is what gardeners enjoy, and this is really early in the morning, but I just had to shoot this. I came and take Maddie out to do her thing, and I seen this beautiful sky, and I thought, wow, I got to share this with everyone because it is so darn pretty. Look at that, how the sun's coming up in the east.